Hey guys, Ryan here for Bender Wins. Hope everyone's doing well today. Here with some player props. All right guys, so I talked about this a little bit before. I said not sure when it was going to happen, but we are going to be adding player props to Masterclass. All right, so not sure if it's going to be every day, but it will probably be most days, guys. We are going to add our best player props. Okay, now above and beyond that, from time to time, I will do a free picks video as well where I just drop some player props. Guys, I have 3 player props for you guys today, my absolute best player props. But we will be doing them more often in Masterclass as part of my full card. So today, guys, I have 3 player props. I have a baseball player prop and I have 2 basketball player props for you guys today. Before I get into it, guys, I just want to talk a little bit about player props and assigning value and stuff. So with player props, typically, I give them a rating system, and then that rating system is pretty easily convertible over into units. Okay, so when it comes to player props, guys, you're typically betting a quarter unit, half unit. You could bet 3/4 of a unit, 1 unit, all the way up to 2 units. There will never be a 3-unit player prop. It will never exist. And for the simple reason, guys, that there's too many factors in player props that you can guarantee that you're going to get, a full performance out of your player. Whereas, if you bet, a run line or a money line or something on a team, more than likely you're going to get a full game unless it's rained out. But there's many factors in betting player props. So we'll look at yesterday, for example. If you had bet Max Scherzer, his strikeout total over, or his total outs, or total innings pitched, or anything like that, guys, if you bet over on that, you would have lost all those bets. I'll tell you why. He got pulled after one batter. So he faced a batter. He got pulled after that batter. That makes an official game. He played in that game. It's an official game. You would lose all prop bets on there. So there is that factor. Now, factoring that in, guys, there's other injuries that you can sustain. There's situations in games. Let's take a look at a situation game where you might be betting a superstar in basketball to be over points, so over 35 points or something for a game. Let's say he does too good a job in the first half along with his teammates, and they're blowing that team out. Say they're up 35, 40 points going into the fourth quarter. That's a game where he's probably going to sit. Okay, so, those are the games where, you want to pull your hair out and say, we had it. We almost had it. And, they pulled him with 9 minutes to go. Well, yeah, he's their superstar and, it's playoffs are here and, not a whole lot of reason to keep him in the game. So there are a lot of factors like that, guys, but it can be easier to quantitate actual edge percentages. Okay, so when it comes to capping a baseball game, there's literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of variables, guys, and you try to look at the absolute best ones and combinations, and you come up with a number. You assign the game a line that you think that game should be, and then the real line comes out, and that is where your starting point from finding value is. Okay, so I figure, hey, in the Boston game, I think Boston should be, minus 140. Okay, and the line comes out and it's minus 115. Well, great, there is a gap there, and that's pretty easy mathematically to figure out what your edge percentage is. Now you want to take that and you want to now look at all the other variables that you might not have taken into account and figure out, is your edge still there? Is there still, do you still have a 13% edge on that game, plus or minus, right? So it can be easier with player props because there are less variables, guys. But again, there's less variables in determining an accurate value level, but there's more variables in determining whether a player wins or loses a player prop, if that makes any sense. So anyways, guys, I'll get into it. I want to explain, a little bit about how I'm getting to these. So the one criticism I got in the past for player props is I never give out their team. And I know, I know who these guys play for, but at the end of the day, I know everyone's not like crazy diehard sports fan. They just like betting on sports casually. So I will try better to give out the actual teams. First one, guys, Chicago Cubs, Kyle Hendricks, okay? We're going to take Kyle Hendricks' total strikeouts over 4.5. Now, we're going to get plus 126 on this. So this is plus 126 that we're getting in this. when it comes to the actual total that I think he will produce, guys, my average that he will produce in this game is 4.5 to 5 strikeouts. So it's pretty much spot on. So let's say that my assessment was absolutely correct, okay? That the true average is on the lower end of my assessment of 4.5. That means that if it was exactly 4.5, it means half the games he's going to pitch, he'll get four strikeouts and we'll lose. Half the games he's going to pitch, we'll get 5 strikeouts and we'll win. However, if we go 50-50 on this, guys, we're getting plus 126. So at plus 126, we will be long-term profitable. The second thing to take into account there is my average is not 4.5. It is 4.5 to 5, okay? So there's added value there as well, guys. So the fact that we're getting plus money on a pretty much 50-50 proposition, only we know it's a little bit better than 50-50. What are the things we need for Kyle Hendricks to win, guys? He obviously has to face more batters. Straight mathematics. The more batters he faces, the more strikeouts he will get. All right, the 7 to last 8 games, he has gone 6 innings or more. We do have a win in at Wrigley, okay? So what does that equate to in terms of pitchers, guys? There's a couple atmospheric things that will make an importance in this game. Number one being that wind in, okay? So you're saying, okay, well, is that going to affect his pitch? No, but here's what's going to happen. What are the key factors that drive pitchers from the game? Giving up lots of runs, okay? So A, really high pitch counts, which with Hendricks, it's not so much an issue. And 2, giving up a ton of runs, okay? The conditions in Wrigley they're not optimal for an under. They're not optimal for an under. However, they are pretty good at preventing home runs, guys. The number you see right now, you would expect only 83% of your normal percentage of home runs, okay? So there'll be a 17% decrease in home runs hit just based on the atmospheric conditions today. So that will help in terms of longevity. It will help keep him in the game longer. And hopefully, you know what we'd love to see him get 7, 8 might be a stretch, but 7 innings, right? If we get up to that point, there's a very, very strong likelihood we will win this bet. All right, now, the other thing in terms of looking at the atmospheric conditions, guys, there's going to be rainstorms earlier in Chicago. It's going to pass by game time, okay? Or it's supposed to anyway. It's going to pass by game time, but it will leave it with a little bit more humidity and moisture in the air, okay? And when we have that, guys, you will get increased ball movement from the pitchers today. So you'll get increased ball movement from the pitchers, which basically, I mean, I've talked about this in Colorado, guys. In Colorado, people say, oh, the air is really thin. That's why the ball travels far. Well, yes. That's why the games go over. Okay, that's part of it. But a large part of it is the fact that the reason players can hit the ball so well in Colorado is pitchers do not have the ball movement because the air is thin. The ball has nothing to grip, so it more or less goes straight. You do not want a ball to go straight, guys. I think from what I've termed spin gate this year with the players doctoring their fingers and using sticky substances, I called it. Anyways, that's a different story. But spin rate is everything in baseball, guys. And in thin air, you can't get a spin rate. In thicker, post-rainstorm air, guys, you will get spin rate. You will get that ball movement, and that is so important in striking out batters, guys. It does not matter. I proved this in a Masterclass video that I did. I actually showed the numbers behind it, guys, that throwing a 90-mile-an-hour fastball with a higher spin rate, with I believe it was 600 revolutions per minute more, is more effective than throwing a 101-mile-an-hour fastball straight. So 90 miles an hour with spin rate is better than 101, or it might have even been 102. So spin rate is everything, guys. It's why pitchers are going to great lengths to cheat at baseball right now, or break the rules anyways by using their little sticky stuff, wherever they put it, suntan lotion, all kinds of stuff. But spin rate's important, guys. And that's why I think that we're going to see some good ball movement out of Kyle Hendricks. Wind blowing in at Wrigley, keep him in the game, prevent him from giving up, 4 home runs being pulled from the game. Okay, over 4.5 plus 126. Over to basketball, guys. Clippers game. First one, Zubac, guys. We are going to go with Zubac under 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So under 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Zubac. The true number I have, guys, is 11.7. Okay, I believe the true number should be 11.7. We're getting 13.5. Now on the surface, you guys might say, Bender, that's not a huge gap. We're talking about like 1.8, points, rebounds, and assists. That's not a huge gap. But when you break that down as a percentage, it is a lot of value, okay? And it's important, guys, to understand that when you're looking for value in player props, specifically basketball player props, okay, and you're assigning a value of it. So we'll say, for argument's sake, I assign a value of 11.5, okay? So, pardon me, 11.5 versus 13.5. It's only a difference of 2. But if you went to a game where, you had one of the superstars of the game and his total points, rebounds, and assists was going to be 43. Now, let's say that you think it's going to be 40. So you have a 3-point difference there. We only have a 2-point difference here. But which one is better value? The lower total one. This one, Zubac, being a difference of 2, because when you convert it over into an actual percentage, when you're calculating your edge, the lower total will have a higher edge. So it's very important. It's very important, guys, when you're factoring this in, that you want to look at if you have higher totals. I mean, you can do the math on it. It's pretty straightforward, okay? You take the difference between the actual book total, your projected total. Take that difference. In this case, it's 1.8. You take 1.8 and you divide it by your expectation of 11.7, and that's going to give you a percentage, guys. That is more or less your edge. Okay, that is your edge. And then there's always a plus or minus. There's always what we call margin of error. Okay, but if you don't want to do all the math, I totally get that. You should do the math, but if you don't, or you're totally lost by that, no worries. Basically, guys, rule of thumb: the higher the player prop total, the bigger the edge you need to bet it. Okay, so again, if you have in this case, we have 13.5 points, rebounds, assists. We're going under. Okay, we think it's going to be 11.7. That's great to bet it. But if we saw something that was the total points, rebounds, assists for a game, maybe Jokic or something like that, 42. Okay, we're not going to bet that at 40. No way. We want to see probably around 34 and a half, somewhere around there before we would say, yeah, let's pull the trigger on that. Because again, we're looking for that percentage, guys, not necessarily the difference. Because at 42, when you're talking about 2 points, I mean, you're basically talking about, him hitting or missing 1-3, where in the lower scoring props, the variance is not as large. Okay, so anyways, guys, points, rebounds, and assists going under 13 and a half. Next, guys, we're going to go with Reggie Jackson over 2.5 assists, minus 133. So Reggie Jackson over 2.5 assists, minus 133. So the number I've arrived on, guys, for this game is my expectation is 3.9 assists. Okay, so 3.9 assists. So look, at 3 assists, we win the bet. Okay, my expectation is actually, if you look at the 0.9, is that more times than not, it'll be higher. It'll get up to 4 assists for the game. So there's a much stronger likelihood of him being at 4 assists than there is having him to be at 1 or 2 or 0 assists for the game. Now, no, I don't use this necessarily as a tool because I'm not 100% sure of the algorithm that they use for it. I reached out a while back, never heard anything, but they have a full section. But Action Network, guys, has this projected at 4.2. Okay, so they have it projected at 4.2 assists. I would think that probably my and this is just a guess, that Action Network basically has some advanced algorithms that they use to look at past player performances, possibly versus this team versus other similar teams. Probably there's a defensive weighting on the teams they're facing, that kind of stuff, and it's all computer driven. I think that the thing that's missing from that is the human factor, like factoring in just certain other variables. But we'll see. They have it at 4.2. I have it at 3.9. But either way, we both have an edge on this one. So let's hope Action Network's right and I'm wrong. And there's my margin of error, my variance. And 4.2 is the true number. But either way, guys, there is an edge on this one. So Reggie Jackson over 2.5 assists, minus 133. So let me know if you guys like this video. I am going to be doing them on Masterclass, adding to the full card. So when you get the full card, you will get some player props. And yeah, so I think other than that, guys, you know, in terms of unit size and stuff like that, I don't even remember if I covered, but unit size, guys, again, I haven't assigned a unit size these for you guys. So, you know, just throw a bit, you know, if you want to go quarter unit, half unit, that's totally fine. Again, you know, going forward, I'm going to convert because, again, I have my relative strength that I assign to it. I assign a number to it, and then I can easily convert that over to units. So, yeah, we'll probably do that going forward. But for today, guys, just want to get these 3 player props out to you. Have fun with it, guys. Player props are not something that, you know, you're going to blast your bankroll on. 2-unit player props are few and far between. There is no such thing as a 3-unit player prop. It does not exist. It will never exist. So, you know, you find the majority of your player props live around the half unit to 1 unit mark. The odd time, you know, you might get a 1.5, or, you know, you might even get a quarter unit play from time to time. But have some fun with it, guys. Enjoy. Yeah, I hope we do well today. Thank you guys very much. And as always, guys, have a very lucky day.